Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a brand new TEW2020 video. It's a monumental weekend and I'm really looking forward to it. But we're here today with AEW All Out. This is basically the 6-year anniversary in the save, because I started this way back after All Out in 2021, both IRL and in game. So that's 6 years in game, 2 years in real life. That's some scary stuff there. We've went, no pun intended, all out here. We have basically went with the motivational speech. We're trying to get the best show we can. I don't think we'll get a 100 rated main event with being two baby faces there. But there's like 40 odd segments. I think it's like 20 matches. It's a proper massive card. Probably the biggest card I've put together since that 24-hour show, which, don't worry, we won't be doing that again. So I'm not going to bother on too much because there's so much to get through. So without further ado, sit back and relax as we head for AEW All Out 2027. So 439 minutes of action has been used. We start off with a little bit of a promo because Mercedes says it's a 97,000 crowd. It's the biggest night in AEW history. It's all about her, it's all about the money, and she is going to take the championship from Veronica. Veronica says she's already beat her before. She's going to beat her again, and she's going to show that the future of the company is in her hands. I just wanted a cheap 100 segment right off the bat so I could just enjoy the rest of the show. So these two have traded words, and we'll do battle in one of our main contests. And we're straight into the action with an absolute banger, by the way. We had the the 0X Championship, so the AEW 0X Championship on the line, as we Chris Bate defending against Bandito, Blake Christian, El Hijo del Vikingo and Pac. And these guys put together a superb wrestling match with great heat, with Blake Christian with a surprise victory, winning in 12:47 when he pinned Chris Bate with the Ilya, meaning he's your new champ. These five guys together brought in 89, and that's with a lack of psychology, so you probably could have saw this one enter the low 90s, I would say, for sure. The weakest performance was actually Blake with an 86, but they all meshed together. The style obviously steal the show, a few of those matches tonight. But yeah, we enter a new era with Blake Christian over in the Collision brand as the 0X champion. A lot of hype package then as we're building up for this big feud between Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia, mentor and protege. They've came together. Danielson feels so disappointed in Daniel Garcia back at 72, and their matchup was good, and Daniel Garcia gets the win in a submission match over Bryan Danielson in 14:27 with a sharpshooter. These guys together put an 80-rated performance, and that's with Daniel Garcia off his game. And we also made this one steal the show as my Xbox decides to go in the background. Next up, we had the Trios Championship on the line, and this was with great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. We saw the United Empire, Aaron Henare and Aussie Open defeat Clark Connors and the Briscoes in 12:09 when Kyle Fletcher pinned Mark Briscoe with a tombstone piledriver, meaning the third defence of the belts for the United Empire. 80-rated performance, not really any poor performances there, you have to say, if anything, Kyle Fletcher and Aaron Henare, but they pick up the win. However, their joy is short-lived, as they have been beaten down when the lights go out by a reunited Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, Brody King, the House of Black. So a 76 rated segment, potential face turn for Buddy Matthews was hinted. There ain't no hints here, we're going for the shock turns on both. Malachi Black, complete success. Will this be two into quicker succession? It's not. Buddy Matthews is babyface as well, so there you have it. Your IWGP United States Champion alongside Brody King and Malachi Black. The House of Black are back together as babyfaces. Next up, we have a little promo here between a formed alliance between Drew Galloway and Chris Statlander, as together these two powerhouses will be taking on the team of, who even is our tag team champion, Sammy Guevara and Dr. Britt Baker DMD. So I'm really looking forward to this one. As I said, I was thinking who could have put against them, and I thought, you know what, Drew likes to be quite powerful. Statlander is obviously more than a woman, really powerful, so I'm hoping that these ones can have a good match up. And of course, if I had just looked at the text, I would have seen obviously that it was Sammy and Britt. It's a 71 rated segment. Match itself, great wrestling, good heat. Britt Baker and Sammy Guevara defeat Statlander and Galloway in 12:26 when Britt submitted Chris, giving them their first defence of the Tag Team Championships, the mixed ones. And Sammy was carrying the match there with a fantastic 91 rated performance. But overall, 83, solid stuff. Delighted with it. Well, this one was a bit disappointing. Put these two together, give them something to do, and expected a banger. I suppose that in-ring performance-wise, you could say they did deliver. But psychology's hurt it, and it's only a 78. But we had a superb wrestling match regardless, with great heat, with Switchblade Jay White defeating Kaito Kiyomiya in 14:19 with a Blade Runner. 78, a wee bit disappointed. But on the flip side, probably doing far better than anticipated, was a match for the Queen of AEW Championship. That's the female belt on Collision. The former Queen of FCW Championship, if you're more newer to the series. Konami defended it against Sareee in a rematch for obviously one of the matches in the Owen Hart Memorial. And it was about with superb wrestling and good heat. We saw Sareee defeat Konami in 12:37 by dropkick, meaning a new champion. She's your new Queen of AEW. Both women have benefited from the feud. Both people have benefited from that championship belt. They join a list of Ty Mello and others that have just had lots of wins with that belt and just really got over. Priscilla Kelly another, to the extent that they've moved on from Collision because they've got so over. So Konami will probably be the same. I think we might move her to Dynamite. But yeah, looking forward to that with Sareee. And 92, that might be one of our most over women-only matches. So fantastic stuff. Of course, we did make it. Steal the show. I'm also wondering, by the way, with the lack of psychology, that could have hit a 94 or a 95. Wow. Next up, it was the Collision Tag Team Championships on the line. We saw the Gun Club challenge up against FTR. We saw them challenge up against the Acclaimed. And of course, the Tag Team Champions, the Grizzled Young Veterans. And this one was good wrestling, a decent action from the crowd as the JYV defeated the Acclaimed, FTR and Gun Club in 12:30 when Zach Gibson pinned Anthony Bowens with a ticket to Mayhem. But this was due to interference from Lewis Price. Of course, the Acclaimed in a little bit of a feud with Pretty Beautiful. Of course, that is our version of Pretty Deadly. Some good performances in there. Zach Gibson with a fantastic 92, Cash Wheeler 187, Harwood as well 186. But another good defence for your tag champs and an 82 rated matchup. Now this one's an interesting one to explain. This is the AEW Ticket to the Top. So I needed a matchup to give people with nothing to do something to do, and I opted for my version of Money in the Bank. So I'm going to call it the Ticket to the Top. And this one, the 6-man ladder match, included Hangman Adam Page, Hiromu Takahashi, Hook, Tyler Black, Malachi Black, now Babyface and Santana. And this wrestling match was superb, great heat. And it was Santana that picked up the win in 1947 when he retrieved the briefcase. What's even more mental to me is this got a 90. This also had a lack of psychology. So I'm hoping this is a case of that wee team talk, that wee motivational speech before the show has really kicked in here. But fantastic stuff. And Santana, it's not a number one contendership. It's the same as Money in the Bank. He can cash that in at any point he wants within the next year to All Out 2028. So good stuff there. Celebrates after the match, which gathers a 72 rated segment. We then move on to the Shine Championship, and about that had some great wrestling and good heat. And it was Jamie Hayter with the surprise win over Priscilla Kelly in 9:52 with a curb stomp. She is your new Shine Champion, again affected by a lack of psychology. Jamie getting better at her gimmick. And a 78 rated segment. It was just a regular matchup. I do feel now that Priscilla's probably above the Shine Championship, and it is going to start moving her towards the Women's Championship picture. And speaking of title changes, we've got another one. The Collision Championship has changed hands. With a little bit of a feud on Collision, which saw Eddie Kingston's arrival just ruffle the feathers of CM Punk and Powerhouse Hobbs. It's much that Kingston has ended up with a championship opportunity here, granted by Tony Khan. And then about the had great heat and good wrestling, Eddie Kingston beat Powerhouse Hobbs in 10:18 with a blackout lariat. He is the new Collision champion, and it was a 77 rated segment. I will say that an 84 from Powerhouse Hobbs has been one of his better performances on the save so far, and this was just a regular match. However, CM Punk and Powerhouse Hobbs furious with this action, and the two of them decided to beat the living shit out of Eddie Kingston. So a 72, and I don't think that Eddie's going to be really happy with that. He'll want to get his hands on Hobbs, and of course CM Punk. We switch gears up now to the AEW International Championship. Now this one was interesting. We've had the feud with the champion, Ethan Page. They've been mocking Prince Devitt, saying he's done, he's past it, can't hang with them. Cody Rhodes is kind of getting a bit of a physical decline, and Kento Miyahara is starting to gain momentum. A shock win over Ethan Page on Dynamite on the Monday means that they're all together in this fatal four-way, and it was a superb matchup that saw Kento Miyahara defeat Prince Devitt, Cody Rhodes and Ethan Page in 14-12 when he pinned Cody Rhodes with the shutdown German suplex. He's your new international champion. Devitt was off his game and unfortunately weak link, but these four guys put together an 86 rated performance. A 91 for Kento. He's really started to kick into a groove now, and a very handy acquisition. This gives us a few angles to go coming out of this. You've obviously got Devitt's decline, but you've also now got a wee bit of tension between Cody Rhodes and Ethan Page. And of course, remember, they still have the likes of Wardlow, Richard Holiday and Randy Orton in that faction as well. Now, speaking of someone who's been in a kind of minor feud with them, but also on the side, feuding with Jacob Fatu, that is of course Darby Allin. Jacob obviously been beating Darby down. Darby wanted his opportunity to take on this big Samoan bulldozer, and it was a superb match with great heat that saw Jacob Fatu defeat Darby Allin in 13:07 with the Samoan drop. These two guys actually put in some good performances in 91 and an 83, but the lack of psychology means this one is just an 81. So it could even have been maybe a wee mash of styles, maybe a wild brawl was maybe not the best idea for somebody like Darby Allin, but we have to build up some heels for the future. Well, that's gone. I did not expect that. So we had Keith Lee against Swerve. That's probably how late the AEW will wait to actually have this match happen, but no, they've had plenty of matches. I just wanted to say well done to Swerve and a great title run here, but it was time to move the title belt on. These two guys wrestled for 13 minutes with a 92 and 91 performance, but apparently there was next to no psychology. I think both of them have got like a decent, this was like in the 50s. They're like high 70s, so I'm quite shocked we got that as a note rather than just the previous penalty. But yeah, it could have been a much higher rating, I think. So long story short, overall, I wanted to go in the direction with both guys. Keith Lee gets a second run, because I don't feel I've got too many championships, too many multiple title reigns, so I'm looking forward to trying that. Just a bit disappointing that, an 80 rated segment, but that is what it is. Change is just Swerve becoming an egomaniac, which is an initial rating of great. However, gives him a small penalty to his charisma. Moving further on, celebration for Keith Lee. We all bask in his glory, and that is an 87. Pretty solid stuff there. Before we then have a promo where Tyler Bate is hyping his upcoming match with MJF. This is a 78 rated segment. So these guys did a little back and forth on Rampage, and it was just a case of MJF saying, next generation, still me, former world champion, going to be again. There's all these people getting him away. So it's going to be him basically saying that he is going to defeat MJF and prove that he is the next generation. 78. And as you know how it goes, MJF wins. Exceptional matchup though. MJF brings a good matchup out of Tyler Bate in a 14 minutes and 15 seconds length of match. Of course, MJF fashion, illegally using the ropes for leverage. Both guys brought a 92 and a 94 performance, hampered by the lack of psychology, which I was hoping that Tyler Bate would have carried, but an 84, still pretty decent down the list. There's a few guys I just wish had maybe 1 or 2 more points in psychology, and would be sorted. Moving along, we had the TBS Championship on the line, and Demi Bennett in a non-title matchup defeated the champ Elena Black, so they are back at it for the championship. Could the former Women's World Champion defeat the TBS Champion to claim that? Well, the answer is no. And about that had superb wrestling and great heat. Elena Black defeats Demi Bennett in 12:09 with a fast roll-up, defeating the far bigger wrestler. As her third defence of the TBS Championship, an 80 played a 90, and despite the lack of psychology, these ladies mustered a very respectable 85 performance. I'll take that. Very happy with it. The matches keep coming thick and fast, and we have the EW World Tag Titles on the line as the Lucha Bros defended them against the team of the Young Bucks, the Generals, and Steena Rico, of course, Kevin Steen and El Generico. And this one had superb wrestling and good heat with the Generals winning the match up in 13:57 when Axel Barfeld pinned Rey Fenix using the ropes for leverage. So a lot of title changes, a wee bit of a fresh approach coming out of this. And a 94 despite Rey Fenix and Matt Jackson being off their game. Lots of positives there. Of course, we made it steal the show. I just wanted a mega matchup that had the Bucks and the Lucha Bros. And then adding in the Generals gives them a completely new direction, a bit of purpose. And Steena Rico, well, if Kev and Generico could get more over on this, it would be great, but they seem to be pop capped. So tag division, it is 94, fantastic. And then another 94, wow, possibly the greatest women's match in AEW history. So explain this one. Women's champs are Alexa Cabrera and Jade Cargill. Diona wanted to prove herself against Mayu Iwatani. Did a great match. Mayu won, but then they had a handshake. And it says, I think we're both really good. We can take each other to the next level. Why don't we challenge for the EW Women's World Championships, Tag Championships? So the Diona turned babyface. They laid out the challenge. Alexa Cabrera and Jade Cargill accepted on Rampage, which gave us this fantastic match which had superb wrestling and great heat as Iwatani and Purrazzo defeated Cabrera and Cargill in 13:29 when Diona submitted Alexa Cabrera with a Fujiwara armbar. New tag champs, a real chance to push the women's tag division going forward with Mayu Iwatani and Diona Purrazzo as your women's champions. Iwatani carried the match up. I think with strong booking, both of these ladies were at the top. The biggest bonus is this was our first time tagging and they're showing excellent chemistry. So to get that is a bit of a boost, but they are your new Women's World Tag Champs, 94. Fan-effing-tastic. Celebrate after the match up to an 84. Pretty good stuff there. Before we move on to the hype package for Kenny versus Kota 2. Can Kenny Omega one up Kota Ibushi this time in a 72 rated segment? The answer is yes. Exceptional matchup with these two. They just miss out on a 100, so it shows that even with a bit of physical decline on Kenny, that you really do get the benefit of the motivational speech because all these matches are delivering. Kenny defeats Kota in 27:48 by 2 falls to 1 in a 2-3 falls match when he defeated him for the one winged angel. The best bout machine does the business, and Kota's getting better at his gimmick. So 98, fantastic stuff. Before his severe concussion and a bit younger, I think that gets a 100, no questions. Next up, we just have the confirmation that Walter and Ospreay, maybe haven't seen eye over years, but they'll be in the same corner, the same team as they take on the faction and Ingobernables next. So that's an 81 rated segment there. Tom Phillips will be being dropped shortly. We have secured the best announcer in the game, which for some reason is Scott Stanford, but there he goes at 95 announcing. So I was like, hey, I don't even know the last time I saw Scott Stanford. He was probably doing something with Zack Ryder. So yeah, I don't watch the lesser shows, so I don't know. But anyway, Ospreay, Walter, Rush, Andrade El Idolo, how will this deliver? 92, I had high expectations. I was like, they could maybe get 100. Exceptional matchup, Walter and Ospreay defeat LFI in 1805 when Will Ospreay pinned Andrade with a Stormbreaker. In 92, great performances all round. Tom Phillips a little bit weak on the desk. This is why I just like to sandbox it and I don't like to do the whole crowd management. Could you imagine the amount of ups and downs and trials and tribulations I'd have to take with a crowd? You'd be here all day trying to book it, so great fantasy booking. I'm really happy with that one. And Walter and Ospreay on the same page. Next up was for the Women's Championship, and it was fantastic heat, great wrestling. Veronica stays unbeaten as she defeats Mercedes Moné in 14:29 with a locked Rafe Slice, and she makes the third defence of the AEW Women's World title. Just an 83, because obviously Veronica's in-ring skills is not the best, but she carries the psychology. Mercedes brings the technique, and a Steel Show brings an 83. Not bad, but it'll only help her development. Mercedes is raging. That's a 78. She's not happy, but she looked good, being angry, and she's getting better at her gimmick. We then had a little word from John Moxley. Now he's dying to get his hands on Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne doesn't come back from injury until after this event. I think it's literally like 1 day. But Okada's here, we've got him recruited, his contract signed, sealed, delivered. And he says it's quite fitting that, Okada decided to finally show up way after, the prime popularity of the Forbidden Door. Can he still hack it with all these wrestlers that are in AEW? It's been a long time since he's tangled with them, and that's a 73. I don't think it'll do too great. I think it'll maybe be high 80s if we're lucky, because Okada's not the most over in the States. I need to build him up again. I thought so. Super Wrestling, great heat. Okada defeats Moxley in 1938 with the Rainmaker. 84 overall, 90 for Okada, 86 for Moxley. But it was just basically a case of, two baby faces as well, I guess. Moxley's low morale would cost it a little bit. But you've got to build Okada up, and I've got to get him to a strong level, because he will be hopefully in main events not too soon. I'm trying to think, is it main event time next? It might be. I'm about to find out. I'm nervous. I don't know if I want to click it. Oh, well, actually went far better than I thought. I was honestly expecting these two not to click together. But we had an exceptional matchup for the AEW World Championship. Of course, it was the winner of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament for the men's side, Adam Cole, and he took on the champ Konosuke Takeshita. Exceptional matchup, but Takeshita wins in 1805 with a javelin kick, giving him his 6th defence of the belt. 93, they put together a 97 and an 83. And just a regular matchup here. Obviously loses a point for being two babyfaces. Cole's declining physical ability already. But I was honestly thinking that was going to flop the show, but you need the World Championship to main event. We might actually be on course for a 100 rated show here. But obviously we need to book going forward. We have some Grand Slams to go to. We have a Dynamite anniversary special down the line. Who is going to step up and face Takeshita next? Because they have a stare off to end the show. It is Konosuke Takeshita staring down Kenny Omega. 81. They came out of it looking fantastic and excellent, despite only an 81 rated segment. But that will set up one of your main events, either for Grand Slam or Dynamite. I might build one up for the other. But at least we've got that match to look forward to in the future. It does get a 100, thankfully, with the boosts and all that, so that's perfect, that's ideal. I can tick that. There's another one in that list. No 100 rated match, which is sad. It means we keep chasing the dream for that one. I've got to get to that realisation that I don't think I'm quite going to do that achievement in this game span, or I'm going to be here forever, for the rest of my life at this point. But really happy with that one. A lot of championship matches, a lot of stuff's been built up over a period of time, over a couple of brands. And there's a few indicators of where we're looking to go in the future, but a lot of fresh stuff as well. We've got a new world champs, world tag champs, new women's world tag champs. We've got a brand new TNT champion, brand new international champion, collision champion, shine champion. Santana can cash in his ticket for the top whenever he wants. And the new 0X champion, of course, a reunited House of Black. Lots to happen in the future, and as I say, for you guys, Grand Slam is only 1 week away, so thank you very much for watching. It's been very deeply appreciated. It's been a very hopefully special weekend that I've partaken in, as this will be live, so I'll not really be posting much about it, but yeah, check out the Fancy Booker subreddit, the Grey Dog Software forums, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.